After many weeks of unbelievable talent, the auditions for America's Got Talent Season 20 officially come to a close as we not only find out who makes it through to the live shows, and it was a really fantastic episode as we had quite a few interesting acts, one of them being kind of a operatic mess in a way, which I'll get into later on, and one particular act this week blew everybody away where even the judges and the audience were insisting having a golden buzzer being pressed, even though they couldn't because they were already been used up. And like I mentioned, we'll be finding out who made it through to the live shows and be joining the 10 golden buzzers. We've got a lot to talk about in this week's recap and review of America's Got Talent Season 20. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. So, folks, as you guys know by now, this week was the final audition episode for America's Got Talent before we head into the live shows. And honestly, this season has been an absolute blast. I mean, I've loved every single act this season. Well, almost every single act this season to say. But overall, it's been a really great episode, great year of talent, great year of auditions, and I just really enjoyed this episode as the talent was very good overall, and we had one act in particular, which I'll talk on about in a little bit later on, which blew me away, and I think may give someone group that got the golden buzzer last week some competition. A little hint there, if you know, you know. But also, as guys know by now, I normally do my tier maker predictions for the live shows after the audition, so that will be happening. You'll get that video about next Wednesday, I think. Hopefully, maybe a bit sooner than that, but that's the plan for it to be on Wednesday. Is my tier maker predictions video, so hopefully stay tuned for that as I've got my predictions. Basically, the kind of like rough idea ready to share with you guys. So I'm excited to share all of that with you. But yeah, and overall, it was a really good audition episode. So they basically had it in two halves. So the first half was the final few auditions, and then the second half was basically with Terry announcing the lineup for the live shows, and he also revealed the lineup for each week as well, which is something that's never happened before. So we know who's going to be in each lineup, so which is really awesome to hear. And so maybe then I can kind of give my early predictions ish on who I think would make it. But anyways, I think we should get straight into the video now, talking about the first act of the night. So let's get into the episode, talking about so we're going to talk about the Oso Brothers, who are an acrobatic gymnastic duo. So they include two brothers. They are originally from Kazakhstan, but they now live in California. And they were both coached by their father, who runs his own gymnast center. A few other notes here. In 2024, they took part in a partnership collaboration with Halo Sportswear before becoming the first ever men's pair junior world acrobatic champions, which is very impressive. And in 2025, they celebrated their first ever senior World Cup win in Belgium. So some achievements there for the Oso Brothers. Very cool to hear. So let's talk about the audition now, because I've got quite a bit to say overall about this audition. Okay, so their performance included them doing a acrobatic routine, which included them hand balancing, and it was to a song called "Hold On, I'm Coming," which I believe is I believe that's a song by I can't remember who sings that song. It's quite an old song. Let me need to find out quickly. Hang on. Who sings that song? It's by Sam and Dave. So I don't know if that was the same song or if it was just like a remix or something, but that song was originally by Sam and Dave, which is a vocal duo. So they did basically a hand balancing routine to that, to flips, and even one of them included the older brother swinging his younger brother between his legs, and that was really impressive to watch as well. I really was quite impressed with that portion of the performance. So let's go to the judges' comments now. So Mel mentioned that she loved it. It was shocking. She didn't expect it, and they clearly trust each other. And even Carmel mentioned that her and her sister, who are 5 years between each other, they didn't really get along. So and so that was pretty cool. Howie mentioned what they did was amazing. He's never seen it with young people like them. Sophia mentioned everything was flawless and nerve-wracking. And Simon mentioned that there were two caterpillars turning into butterflies. And overall, I can definitely agree with the judges what they said here, because this was an overall very impressive act. When I watched it was very, very impressive overall. And seeing these two brothers having so much trust for each other, and also the bond for them, is quite amazing to see. And like the overall routine was really impressive, and some of the balancing they were doing was very, unbelievable to watch. But I will say, I feel like I feel like out of the acrobatics this year, I still feel like that the TT Boys are still up there as the best acrobatic act this year. But I'm not bringing down these guys, as I thought they were really, really impressive. And overall, I really enjoyed the performance as well. And only one act made it through to the live shows from this episode, so I won't talk too much, how far they can go because I kind of know, but you know what I mean. But anyways, this overall performance I thought was really, really impressive. I do think like again, I feel like I mentioned, I feel the TT Boys are probably my favourite acrobatic act this season as of right now. So overall, I'd say they were good, but I wouldn't say they were on the same standard as them, in my opinion, because I think the TT Boys, what they were capable of doing, was nothing short of phenomenal, and this was still very impressive, regardless. And like I mentioned, I've mentioned many times before, I absolutely love the acrobatic acts that we see on the show, as they are always extremely impressive and they've always blown me away. And this was nothing short of fantastic to watch, regardless. So I think this was still very good overall, but maybe not my favorite acrobatic act of the season. But like I mentioned, I still thought they were really, really good, regardless. And just again, seeing brothers, doing what they do, and then just seeing the trust they have for each other is nothing short of really wonderful to see. So overall, I really enjoyed this performance and it was a very good way to open up the show. Now we have to talk about, without question, the best performance of the night and the acts that everybody wanted the golden buzzer for, and that is Indian dance group Be Unique Crew. And now, for those who do not know, I've actually seen these guys on many Got Talent competitions over the years on YouTube, and they are just incredible. So when I found out they would be on AGT this season, I was so excited when I found out. And this audition, for me, has got to be one of the best I've ever seen in the years I've been watching the show. So let's just talk about them first. So they are basically a dance group from India, and one of the members was actually a founder member of Unreal Crew from last week's episode, who got the golden buzzer from Howie, and they mentioned that basically, and then he left the group, and then they decided to make up this group, which is very cool. And their breakout moment came from when they performed a routine on the first season of I can't remember what, I don't know what it's called. It's I don't think I'll be able to pronounce it. So if you want to check out, it's on the fandom. If you want to check it out, but as I mentioned, they've been on many Got Talent competitions over the years. So they've made the finals on Slovakia's Got Talent in 2022. They made the final on Got Talent España All Stars. They made it then. Then they got to the final on Italia's Got Talent in 2023. In 2024, they made the final of Emora, which is a Romanian show. I don't know if it's Got Talent. I don't know if it's just or it could just be a completely different show. And also, they were on Britain's Got Talent earlier this year, but they were on the Unseen After Show where they didn't make it through to the live shows. So they auditioned. We saw them on Unseen, but they didn't make it through to the live shows, which I've always found interesting because they seem to always have the unseen acts on the after show and BGT not make it through, which is very interesting because I think, but it makes sense, I feel like. So, but anyway, so we have to talk about the audition now because I have to I could literally talk about hours for this performance, but we're gonna get into now. So basically, this performance basically included them involving this TV screen in the background, as you can see, and then it turns on, and basically one member kind of controls the other guy on the other side, where he put his head behind the TV screen to make it look like he's in the TV screen, and then out of nowhere it becomes this kind of like how do you describe it? It's like these big claw things. I don't know if you can how to describe it. It's like for some reason it just kind of reminds me of a sea monster a little bit. I don't know why. But basically they came out with these robotic arms, and then they kind of tilted the TV screen backwards and forwards, which was very, very impressive. And then they came out and did one with the members who are behind the TV screen doing these movements, and the precision on this was so incredible. And when I first when as the performance got into it, I was here for the whole performance. And then they did some contortion movements. They incorporated contortion, flexibility, and just some of the moves they were doing was so incredible to watch. And they even at certain points they even tilting one of the members' heads, into like a 180-degree angle, which was impressive. Then they had the TV screen come back with what was basically looked like one of them getting their head ripped off, and then basically then after that they come back with the big claws again, which was very impressive. And then one of the members comes forward, and then what happens then, he gets the one with no shirt, he comes on, he comes to the front of the dancer, and then all you hear is and then his head turns 180, and oh, the bones cracking. It freaked me out, to say the least. But this whole performance was without a doubt just like normally I have a lot of words to describe a performance, but I literally have no words to describe how incredible this performance was. So we got to get to the comments here, because the reaction they got was absolutely mental. Like the audience were going crazy for them, and even they were even chanting for the golden buzzer to be pressed, even though they had already pressed it. So Sophia mentioned that it was one of the best acts of the season, and they took season 20 to the other level. It was different, something she had never seen, spectacular. Mel B completely agreed with Mel, and she thought it was very unique, hence their name. And she thought it was brilliant. And Howie even mentioned that he wanted to press the golden buzzer, but he looked at the producers and the boss, and they were saying, "No, you can't press the golden buzzer." Which honestly, I have to say, I was shocked this wasn't like a group golden buzzer for these guys. And then the audience were going crazy for them. Like the audience were literally chanting for the golden buzzer to be pressed. Like I don't think I've ever heard a reaction like that in all the years I've been watching agency, especially this season. Like this has got to be the biggest reaction I've seen this year. But Simon did have some few things to say, because he mentioned while it was good, he felt like the act was a little bit too small, which I guess in a way I can kind of see where he's coming from. But he did say on the live shows with bigger production, he thinks that they would be incredible. And in the end, all four judges voted yes. We'll see them next time. And even both Howie and Sophia expressed how much they wanted to press the golden buzzer, and listen to the audience reaction as well was crazy. But and I mean, all I have to say for this is I think we can all agree on this. I've said this online before. I said this online on their YouTube performance, but the fact that they didn't get the golden buzzer, I think, is absolutely criminal. And I mean criminal, because this is quite frankly the best dance group I think I've ever seen on America's Got Talent. Not only that, but I think on all Got Talents, like Britain's Got Talent, AGT, all the Got Talents I've seen on YouTube, this is single-handedly the best thing I've ever seen. Because not only the whole routine was just sensational, the theme was incredible, the looks were incredible, the movements were incredible, and the whole routine, like the staging, the whole production was so phenomenal to watch. Like I'm telling you, this is the exact type of act that could literally win the whole thing. These guys, I could totally see these guys end up winning the whole thing, and I think they've now just given Unreal Crew some real competition right now, folks. Because to see a dance group like this on the show, this phenomenal, this exciting, just honestly, I don't think I've ever been more blown away by a dance group like these guys. But it was just absolutely perfection. And honestly, if I would be amazed if these guys are not in the top 5 this year, because I think they are just sensational. And I honestly, to see this type of act go all the way and end up winning the show would just be amazing. Like I know I've mentioned many times before that I feel like I've always felt like that Jogler Simmer and Jessica Sanchez were the top 2 acts this season, and I still think they are. But now with Be Unique Crew, I think I could honestly see them making their way to the top 3 now and actually win the whole thing. I mean, how incredible would it be to see Be Unique Crew and Unreal Crew battle it out in the finals? That would be such an epic battle, and honestly, I would love to see that happen. And again, I'm amazed that they didn't get a golden buzzer. Not even that, but at least a group golden buzzer, because I just thought they were absolutely incredible. They were so incredible, so exciting. Just again, everything about this whole performance was sensational. And again, honestly, I would be amazed if they're not in at least the top 3 of this season. At least the top 3 or the top 5. I would be amazed, because again, this is the exact type of dance group that I honestly feel could win the whole thing. And we've not had many dance group wins. We've not had many dance groups win the show. You know, the last one we had was Maya's in 2022. So this is the exact type of act I feel would be perfect to see win and be in the finals of the show. And just honestly, they were just incredible. They really would just. I got no other words to say other than how incredible they were. They were just sensational, and I think again, I seriously think these guys have got real shots at winning the whole thing, and just yeah, let's, let's just move on to the next act. But all I can say is they were phenomenal, and I truly do think they could end up winning the whole thing. So let's move on to the next act, which was actually a back-to-back episode segment here. So next up, we had Matt O'Brien, who is a stand-up comedian. He's from Canada, and he actually made his start at Yuck Yucks, which is a comedy club where Howie Mandel got his start. Believe it or not, he's appeared on Just for Laughs, Comedy Central, and believe it or not, his wife actually auditioned as well, which we'll get into the next act. so so his audition basically was kind of shown briefly before Julia. sorry, sorry about that. I had to clear my throat there. So his basically audition included him doing a comedy routine about being mistaken for someone who is single, and being in the traffic, which was quite funny. It was shown for about a few minutes or so, but we'll get on to the comments quickly. So Howie mentioned that he was really good. He deserves to be there, and Simon mentioned that people will like him as well, which is while this audition was briefly shown, I definitely got a few chuckles out of him. I thought it was rather funny, very inventive. I really enjoyed his routine. I liked a bit of the material that there was. I don't know how long the audition was, because I know they sometimes cut some stuff out. But overall, this was a very nice audition to lead into the next step, which we'll talk about now, which is Julia. I can't pronounce her surname. Julia. I can't pronounce her second name, but anyways, Julia. So she, like I mentioned, is the wife of Matt, their husband and wife, which I didn't know actually until I found out, which is awesome. So she's appeared on Comedy Network, MTV, PBS, Conan O'Brien, Kevin Hart. She's done other stuff like she made her debut on Just for Laughs in Montreal in 2015. The other stuff she's done other stuff like she was even she actually was nominated for some awards as well, and she co-hosted the Is This What You Want Your podcast alongside her husband, Matt O'Brien, which we just mentioned. So her comedy routine included her performing a routine about her obsession with wine, going to the doctor, talking about her husband, and kind of her annoyance with snoring, which husbands do seem to do, especially men all the time, which I've definitely noticed, and I really enjoyed this whole routine. I actually thought she was, I'm not trying to compare comedians here, but I actually thought she was funnier than Matt. I mean, I thought Matt overall was pretty funny, but I thought Julia was actually more funnier than him in a way, if that makes sense. But so Julia, someone mentioned that it was hard, and what she did to follow her husband, and she was funny. Sophia mentioned that she was laughing from beginning to end, and Mel mentioned that she's her kind of girl. She liked it from the get-go, and Howie mentioned the fact that she was willing to put their relationship on the live shows, how important the show is, which I do agree. And overall, I just loved everything about this performance from Julia, because not only the whole performance really had me laughing, but she's got this infectious personality, and her comedy timing was great. The material was really well written, and just I loved the whole set, and just and that's what I love seeing about stand-up comedy, and seeing these type of routines, and just seeing how people can relate to this kind of stuff. So overall, I really enjoyed this performance. I thought she was very funny. I personally I preferred her a bit more compared to Matt. I'm not trying to compare both of them, because I thought both of them were pretty funny. But overall, I really enjoyed her performance, and just I love and the fact that husband and wife, which I thought was really cool to see when she announced it, that both of them were a married couple. That was a really cool surprise. So yeah, it was really nice to hear. And again, I really enjoyed this performance overall. And yeah, Yeah, I haven't got much to say about them because they were kind of on very quickly after each other. But overall, I really enjoyed the overall performance, which was very funny and great humor as well. So now we're going to talk on about the next act here, which was Alex. What's her name? Alex. Blanchard. She is a dancer hailing from Liverpool. She's a Liverpudlian from the UK. So UK in the house, everybody. There's not much about her from what I read on the fandom. But I know she did mention that she travelled by herself to be here. So she travelled by herself, all by herself, basically, to come to the audition. And she's aged 18 from Liverpool, like I mentioned. And we're just getting to her audition now because, I mean, there's not much to talk about her background, her in the wiki here, because I normally read it from the wiki. If I, but anyway, so let's talk about her audition. So it basically had her, so her performance included her doing a dance routine to the Tempest Trap Suite. Disp- uh, Disposition. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I don't know the song was, and it was actually quite a good performance. It wasn't on the same league as Be Unique crew from earlier in the episode, but it was very interesting. It was a very different style of routine I wasn't expecting. Um, so basically, let's get to her now. So basically, her audition had her doing acrobatics, bit of gymnastics in her dance routine. So Mel mentioned that she didn't know what to call what she did because it wasn't just contemporary dance. It was something that she created herself, which definitely seemed to be the case. And yeah, I do agree with that. It was very type of that essence in a way. So and then Howie's comment was for one person to execute that kind of energy and that kind of enthusiasm was pretty spectacular and eye-opening. Sophia mentioned her favorite thing about dancing is that she likes not just likes dancing, but she had gymnastics. It made it exciting. And Simon mentioned that she seemed to put a lot of work into the routine and it was brilliant. And I definitely agree with the judges that you could tell she put a lot of effort into the whole routine. And oh, hang on a minute, I don't know what happened there to my screen. Just give me a second, folks. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. My camera, the photo I must have clicked the button and then it just ding, it just disappeared. But I'm back now with the recording. But anyway, it's about Alex. So, firstly, she's from the UK. Awesome to hear. But her audition was definitely different. Some of the moves she did was very eye-opening, very impressive, and it also like the judges said, it felt like a very different type um of dance. She had more gymnastics, more acrobatics, which was very creative to see. But and what she was able of doing was very impressive to say the least. It wasn't my favorite act of the night. It wasn't my favorite my favorite dance routine of the season. But still, I thought she did a very good job overall. And yeah, I still think she's 18. She's got a lot of work to do. I feel, but she has got a lot of potential. I feel she's definitely got that potential in her to do very well. And yeah, I wish her nothing but the best. But it was overall yeah, a very overall good audition. And, all four judges voted yes, meaning she makes it the deliberations rounds, which we'll get on to at the end of the video as we go to talk about the final act of the night, which was probably the messiest one of the night. And that was Avalon Petros. Now, we got so let me get her up quickly. Sorry about that, folks. Where is she? There she is. So she is a opera singer hailing. She is from California, and she's done a lot of stuff here. And so in 2018 she appeared on the Gong Show, and also in 2019 she played Allison in Release Dates before going on to appear on the second season of Amazon series Pretty Dudes, the ABC pilot Woman Up and Helga's Talent Show, and she was also on Britain's Got Talent a few years ago in 2023, the year Bruno joined, and she auditioned there and she didn't make it through to the live show. So that's the stuff she's done. So let's talk about her audition because we've got a lot to break down for this audition. So basically, her performance had her singing Andrea Bocelli's and Sarah Brightman's "Time to Say Goodbye." Now, overall, her voice was very impressive. I thought she had a great voice, but that's when some of the crew members came out from the wings, and then they started dumping and all this messy stuff. There was paint, glitter, like more paint. There was like feathers coming out, like confetti. Basically, they were putting a bunch of messy stuff all over her while she was singing, which was very very interesting to say the least. So and even Mel B buzzed the act, and then also the judges wanted to hear it again. I get for some reason. I think they just wanted to hear it again, and then that's when Howie and Simon came up, and she performed something else, which I didn't know the song to. Um, and so that's when Simon and Howie started throwing and dumping all the messy stuff over her. And after that, it came out to a whole messy war where the judges were basically getting everybody messy. Terry came out and to join in all the fun, and it was just messy to say the least. So let's go into the comments quickly because I kind of want to think it was an unofficial audition, but it was a chaotic way to end off the show. Where is it? So Mel mentioned that is she really an opera singer? She mentioned that she is an opera singer, but she wanted to show a different side of her, which I can respect. So Sophia mentioned that she didn't need to do that with that voice, and Harry mentioned that this is what makes it special. This is why you'll remember her. And Simon mentioned that she'd love to hear another song, which is why he did that. So I think all four judges did vote yes for them. All four of them voted yes for her, and it was a very fun way to end off the audition episode for this season. As I think I will say though, it wasn't like I think she has got a really good voice. For opera, she's got a really nice voice. But I feel like this is my opinion. But I feel like just the other elements of having getting the paint dumped over her, the confetti, the glitter. I didn't think that was necessary, in my opinion. I know it's part of the act, which I can respect. But I think she has got a good voice. But apart from that, I think the other elements weren't for me, in my opinion. So, but it was so cool to see, and then see all the judges having a full on like paint fight or something. All of that stuff, which was very, very fun to watch, and I excuse me, I did enjoy that, to be honest. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, this was a very fun way to end off the audition episode, and just very very messy, very funny to watch, and just I just had a blast watching this bit, and that is how the auditions for this season concluded. Meaning, we're now going to talk about the live show lineup. So here we have the official season 20 live shows lineup. So let's go through them together. And some of them here I'm quite surprised about. So let's talk about them now. So we have Alan Simonov, the magician, who I'm not surprised made it through. I thought he was fantastic in the audition. Alex Zinger from the dancer with his crew. Again, I felt like he wasn't my favorite because I mentioned that he wasn't a great dancer, but I think he would be put through. Anna Serenina, the crossbow shooter, who I thought was very good. So she deserved to go through. Astrid, the choir leader, who I was not expecting to go through. I felt like her audition was like a one-time thing. So to see her in the live shows is very surprising. Austin Brown, who got a second chance where he did his original song. I'm not surprised he made it through because I think they were trying to get a storyline out of him. Be Unique from this week's episode. I mean, no surprise there because they were phenomenal. Bay Melnick, the guitarist, the 9-year-old guitarist. Benjamin Hightower, the singer who performed Pink Pony Club. Ben Family Bands, the vocal group who are related to the LA Fires. Then actually, let's go over the Golden Buzzers quickly right now. So we have the Birmingham Youth Choir, who are Simon's Golden Buzzer, Charity Lockhart, Mel's Golden Buzzer, Duo Stardust, Sophia. We have Jessica Sanchez, we all know Jessica by now. I absolutely love her audition. I'm still watching her audition to this day. Who else? We've got Jordan Blue, Howie's Golden Buzzer, Lights Wire, Simon's Golden Buzzer, the Masaudi Brothers. I absolutely love these. Absolutely love them. The Funketeers, Terry, the Boykins, Terry, and Unreal Crew, Howie from last week. So let's go through the other acts quickly. So another act I'm surprised that made it was Boston Dynamics, the robot act, which was very interesting. Chris Turner, again, I was not expecting to see go through because it felt like a one-time act. Chuck Adams, I'm very happy that he went through. City Limits, agreed. Hang on a minute. Sorry about that, folks. As I was saying, I had to pause it quickly. So, as I was saying, the acts made it through. So, we had City Limits, like I mentioned, Cole Swenson, who performed Viva La Vida in the auditions with his mother. Crash Adams, I'm very happy about. The ED dance team, the young girls who did the gymnastics thing. I believe it's actually called a marionette dance or something. Gendai, the Japanese laser act, who I'm so happy about, as I was really hoping he wouldn't get robbed like Made in Vietnam did. Girish and the Chronicles, the rock band from India. Again, so happy about them. Jack Quillian and Wager, the aerialist duo. Joglissimo, probably the act I'm so thrilled about that made it through. I absolutely loves them, and I still feel they should have got the Golden Buzz on the live shows. Leo High School Choir, Loco Pop Familia, the Japanese dance with the cat costumes. I would have a feeling Mel's going to buzz them. Manino Masio Harrison, the dancer, who I actually kind of forgot about, to be honest. Then Mama Duke, the rapper, the mastermind, the kind of magician with the AI. Micah Palace, rapper, the Phobias, the horror kind of clown magic trio. Shula King, the stand-up comedian, the only stand-up comedian to be in the live show, which I'm kind of surprised about. Then Sikra Marina. Sorry if the writing is so small. I had to fit in the page here, but they were really good as well. Then Steve Ray Ladson. Then we had Team Recycled, again another act I'm happy about that made it through. Then Tom Sandoval, and again Tom Sandoval I'm not a fan of, so I'm not too pleased he's in the live shows. The TT Boys, very happy about, and Zach Mers, the magician as well. So we've had 3 magicians in the finals in the live shows this season, which is pretty cool. But overall, I'd say this is very solid lineup for the live shows this season. But I will say there are definitely some surprises. From looking back at the list, who didn't make it through, such as Bill Taylor, who did Knocking on Heaven's Door. I'm surprised about that. Who else? Chase Vance, I'm a bit surprised about. Who else? Evelyn Aronte, the 13-year-old singer, who I'm kind of gutted about. Duo Turkey is the one I'm the most shocked about. Who else? Who else? Who else was there? There was Silas Luke Jones, who I really liked. The Bodyguards, I'm kind of surprised didn't make it. Urban Fury, another one. Another act I'm very surprised that didn't make it, because I thought they were really good. So to see them not make it through is quite a surprise. But overall, this is the live show lineup for this season. And again, I really like this lineup. Got good diverse variety, and so yeah, an overall really really solid lineup as well. I really like it. And so next week, you'll probably get my tier maker predictions for the live shows, and also in a few weeks' time, we'll begin the first live show recap of the season for the live shows. I'll probably do that on a Thursday, so I'll do my performance ranking on the Wednesday, and then do my review on the Thursday, because I know that's when the results are. So that will probably happen. Hopefully, we'll find out closer to the time when that happens. So there you are. That is this week's recap and review of the final audition episode for America's Got Talent season 20. Let me know your thoughts of this final audition episode in the comments below. I love to hear your thoughts, as I really enjoyed the whole episode. I thought it was a great episode. Some great acts. I mean, Being It Crew, I already think could take home the whole competition, and I know, because then I know we have great acts like Lightwire, the Masaudi Bros, Jordan Blue, Jessica Sanchez, Joglissimo, and even Unreal Crew from the previous week. But just Being It, I just think are so phenomenal, and just seeing, I honestly, I'm going to call this now. I'm betting my money right now. They're going to be a live show Golden Buzzer. I'm calling it now, especially if Howie is in charge of it on his week. I am almost convinced they're going to get the Golden Buzzer. And I mean, I could see Sophia pressing it for them as well, but it's going to depend on who they're up against in the live shows. But as of right now, I'm very confident that Be Unique Crew will get a Golden Buzzer in the live. Even the same for Joggler Simmer. I think they could get one as well. But I'll probably do a kind of a predictions video to that, maybe towards later before the live shows. But anyways, that is it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe with post notification turned on. I would really appreciate it. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video. And of course, I will see you guys next time.